Okay, so I had a little bit of time. I finished up, this is my evening to get a lot of errands done and kind of wrap up things around the house or work or whatever I need an evening to do. Probably should have been yoga, but I went for a walk, so I did something, but I just didn't feel like doing a lot today, except being outside in the beautiful weather. I can't believe it's this nice in November. Um, but so I'm in the living room, and one of the things that I talk about in the other videos is, if, of course, you're watching them religiously. I know, but I talk about everything ends up on the living room wall, and so we're in the living room. This is the living room wall. So I will show you the living room wall. This is we'll start on this side. And some of the paintings here. And then, people, the gallery, I guess. I just hang everything. So some of these are mine, some of these are my daughter's. If it's not nailed down or running away, I put it up on the wall. I don't know, just adds color. Have high ceilings and I don't really want to tackle painting them. So when I first moved in, I just also was echoing. I wasn't used to like a 2-story living room, and it made noise. Everything felt very noisy. I didn't have carpets or anything yet. So I hung everything, every painting that I had in the basement and wherever. I just hung everything on the walls. And so it's just what I keep doing. I finish something and I put it on the wall. My daughter finishes something, I put it on the wall. The neighborhood kids, we paint something. Some of their stuff might end up on the wall, but they do tend to take it home. So anyway, this is a little bit different. This is something that I do, especially when I don't have a lot of time, but I just want to do a little something creative, or when I'm, I don't know, I just want to play with the paint markers really and do something that's not very involved or messy. This is the kind of thing that I'll do. I'm trying to figure out how I can position this so you can see. So this is one that I've been fooling with for a while, and these really just never end. I mean, they end when you end up with no more space, there's not enough room, but I just keep layering them, and then at some point, like everything, I'll put a wire on the back and hang it up on the wall, and that's what I do with these. So here's one that's has some stuff going on, and here's another one. Does it have a top and a bottom? Yes, it does. It does. I forget what it is. I forget which one goes where, but here's another one. So everything so far has been that larger one that it was talking about my kind of my cave experience and some of the stuff that's going on with me, and it's journaling on a canvas and me either just letting some feelings out or processing things that are going on with me so that I can understand. Like that visual journal, right? The idea that there are emotions or energy or something kind of in me, and I don't know what they are, or I don't know what's bothering me or what I should be working on or whatever. Self-awareness in general. So I put these things into canvas, and whether it's just me kind of pushing emotion, feeling out into a canvas because I just feel compelled, or it's because I want to sort of figure out where I am or how I feel or whatever is going on with me or in my life, get a different perspective. That's something that I do there. These are a little bit different. So I start with, a cheap canvas. I always get them. I mean, I don't even know if they still make them anymore. I don't, I can, I guess. I probably still remember. And I do have an electric staple gun. But I don't really, I'm not at this time doing anything with, stretching canvas. Maybe at some point. But these are just the cheap, these are the cheap, 10 by 10. I get the 10 by 10, I get the 10 by 20. And I can show you, I'll put a picture, I guess, up of, or some other time, I don't know. I made them into a headboard. I got these metal things put on the back and just joined them together on the back and then made a headboard of them. But anyway, that's what we're doing here. I'm sidetracking. The cats may make an appearance. They're, I don't know if you hear little grumblings and noises and chirps and things. They make a lot of fun noises, but they're circling me now. Like, what are you doing, lady? Why are you making this video? So anyway, this is something that I do. Okay, so the first thing that I do with it is I just slap some paint on it, regular acrylic paint, any kind of paint, just to get a background. And these, a good way to make them all coherent, if you want to ever put them together, is to do one, you know, slap the paint on in one group of colors all at one time, and then the backgrounds will always kind of match. So then they'll make some sense. But anyway, these are, that's what I did with these. You can see I did kind of a orange, you can't really see, it's too bright. Orange, green, some stuff in there, just various colors, and they're just plain acrylic. And then I start kind of writing over top of them with the paint pens and making shapes and whatever comes out, and then adding more shapes on top of those shapes and things like that. So then you get this kind of stuff. And now, then this is the next part. So this is the part where you can just hang them up like that. And sometimes I do, because I just like the shape or the color, or I have a space to fill, and I'm like, that's good enough, and I throw it up there. Because you can always take it back down and continue fooling with it later. But this is where I start adding words into the art. And sometimes I do that, sometimes it's kind of manifestation, and sometimes, so, you know, kind of hopes and wishes, or things that you're working on, or affirmations, or anything like that, right? Things that, sometimes a mantra, I might put that in there, and, you know, I start writing those in and then building shapes and art around that. So this one has, if you look closely, so you can see, I'm not going to show you too much because I don't want you to know all my business. But so in the purple there, you know, there's some words, and then it's starting to build, you know, you can see where I started building around those letters. So if I were to put, I'll just do some, like, so I can see here, right, like with the background that's in there, I feel like I could do something in there, although I do kind of like this square thing going on. So maybe I'll just fool around in the purple. So, you know, you can kind of vaguely see some letters going on in this purple, right? And I'm going to see if I can tilt this so that you can see if as I work without my hand getting in the way. I don't know if that'll work, but we're going to give it a try. Okay. I mean, look at this. Totally professional operation here, right? As always, you wouldn't expect anything else. All of you people who are nobody watching this except myself. This is just sort of an exercise for me. And something I do, no, not black. I don't think I want to use black. I'll just do a little bit with this that I, let me see. Okay, let's try to do this. I picked up the complete, hey, all right, that might be working. I hope so. I'm going to give it a try. I got a weird shadow in here. But I need, let's try, blue. Okay, so in some of these, there are these letters, right? I don't need the letters to stay letters. It was just kind of a, you know, something that came to mind, as always, sort of stream of consciousness and just intuition, or whatever, however you want to, inner self, your voice, whatever you want to think of it as. So I'll start to, then I stop looking at them as letters, and I just look for shapes. You know, like this is clearly an S and an E, but it doesn't need to stay that way, right? Like I can just move around it as a shape now, and look for these opportunities. I'm always looking for these things. And I just sort of think of what I think of it as a composition then, and no longer letters, just spaces and patterns that can be filled. And I try to think of it that way. Like, see how it's developing here, and then this gets full with white, but now we have this area here that's not full. Right? It looks like I stopped at the last layer, which is, you know, of course, exactly what I did. But now I'm thinking of it as a composition, and I'm just looking for things to fill. It's a little like coloring at this point, right? And I just, let's see here. So here's this, I kind of like that dry brush bit there, like that section, so I don't really want to change that. But I don't like this because I feel like that is showing dry brush in a way that I don't like. Now I have this big blob of blue. It might be too much. Or I might be able to balance it. Like, I like what some of the layers are doing here, but it's it needs to be built up more. And this, I feel like it doesn't, although I do see some muddy areas. You know, like, I don't like that muddy yellow. But this muddy yellow looks okay, right? But this one doesn't. So I just add the blue, and now it's got this mosaic thing going, and I'm kind of thinking, like, you know, should I come out here with the blue and leave this sort of tile in the middle? Should I keep going with that? You know, here's something that I would look at, but I'm going to procrastinate, as you've seen me do. If you watch this, some of the things that I think could be, I'm just going to procrastinate by adding a layer and making this more opaque there. Because, and I'm tapping my foot, that probably sounds funny. Yeah. So I like where this is going. I like this standing out, and then, so this is tempting, right? Because I see it peeking through, and I see this, like, I feel a little compelled to bring the blue back out, but I also like that I have these distinct areas, like this tile heart of the thing where all the words are, and then this wordless sort of muddle out here. That does appeal to me a little bit, and so I'm not sure if I want to bring that out. But then again, so I'll have to think on that, because I'm not really ready to make that commitment. But I don't have to, because on something like this, you know, it's like a coloring book. I was at the bookstore. I went to pick up a book. I really wanted to read Alice Hoffman for some reason tonight. And I was going to go to the library, and I don't remember where the library card is. And I think I read everything that they had in the library for her. Because I used to take my daughter to the library for a bunch of different things, and I'd always get a book. And I think I read all of their Alice Hoffman. But anyway, Alice Hoffman wrote Practical Magic and many other books. They're all very good. I just love her, and she has such a beautiful, it feels like fall. For me, sometimes some authors have seasons, and she is very distinctly fall for me, much like Laura Esquivel and Gabriel Garcia Marquez. Is that his name? I can't picture it. 100 Years of Solitude and all of those. Those are all summer. They're warm. Anyway, that's what I wanted. So I went to get this. And they have coloring books. They have all these coloring books, apparently for adults that, you know, and I saw some, and I thought, oh, maybe my daughter would like this, you know, I'm constantly getting for Christmas and birthday and stuff. I just pile things up. Hopefully I don't lose them all. Then I thought, you know, I used to more, you know, a few years ago when she was a little younger, she would just tell me what she wanted and I would draw things, like whatever characters she wanted. She would say, like, you know, I want a cat's eyes and a mermaid tail and princess outfit and stuff. And I would just draw these things and then she'd color them in and kind of create your own monsters. I think maybe I'll do that. I got her some art pens, some new pens for her to use, which also means she won't be using mine. But I'm kidding myself because that's never going to happen. Anyway, so you see how this works, right? You really don't have to think about anything. I mean, you're not drawing anything. There's no rendering. I'm not examining it for, you know, what are my thoughts and feelings. This is just a way for me to fool around a little. Like it's a coloring book, and it's like a never-ending coloring book because you can really continue to fool with this. See these little shapes? You don't need any. You know, this isn't. I'm not rendering anything here. There's no. I guess maybe a little bit of composition, a little bit of color, a little bit of just knowing where to put a shape so that it, I don't know, looks harmonious. But really, we all have a natural sense for that. Like kids, I always say, like, you know, if you ever ask, you don't really have to ask a kid if they're an artist. They just are. They just sit down and do stuff, and they know what they're doing. And you say, like, what is that? And they're like, oh, that's a, you know, I don't know, an ant farm, a sky, you know, that's my dog. You know, they know what they're doing. And it doesn't have to look like it. And nobody cares. And everybody says, oh, that's great and wonderful. And then as an adult, you do that, and they say, like, well, you can only go to paint night and follow the directions to make sure that it looks the way it's supposed to and stuff like that. But if your stuff doesn't look like it's supposed to, or it doesn't have, I don't know, some idea of, I don't know what, rendering. Okay, the cats are climbing things and they're fighting. Stop fighting, ladies. 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 Now they're all over the TV. Don't climb the TV. So, but then it's like you can't be childlike anymore. You get to some age and you're sort of ridiculous if you're being childlike, or maybe that's okay for some people, but not for others. And I think everyone needs it. And all you need is permission. And you're a grown-up, so you give the permission now. So just go ahead and do that. You don't need to be good at something to do it and enjoy it. Like, look at this. Somebody might look at this and say, like, this is ridiculous. This is, you know, awful. I don't care. I'm putting it on the wall. And if they don't like it, they can get off my lawn, I guess. I don't know. But that's the thing. So this is just, the idea here is, these are things that I do just to decompress, I guess. I'm not figuring anything out. I'm not trying to understand myself or anything like that. I do, in my own belief system, I have an idea that because I know the words that are hidden in here, and this is something I did really even as a kid, I used to kind of hide words and drawings and stuff. Because I know the words that are in here, to me, every time I look at it, wherever I hang it, I'm going to remember some of them, or I'm still going to see some of them. I'll forget a lot, because, you know, I don't remember everything that I put in these. Sometimes. I did that in the other house, in one of my houses. When I was younger, I did a mural on a wall, and I kind of wrote things all, Om Namah Shivaya. You know, I wrote that all through it as you know, I was a little down at the time, and I was trying to, always work on myself and kind of improve my feeling and interaction with the world. So, so I will, I think, you know, as I hang this on the wall, I'll remember some of what I wrote in here, and or at least the overall, you know, where I was at the time, and then I'll maybe see some letters and some of what I was writing. But in that way, I think it can be beneficial. Always, never. I mean, some people will do something like this. If you're going to do something like that, like to pour energy out, like some people say, write a letter and don't send it or delete it or whatever. That's fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Personally, I think you should write it out by hand and then burn it, and you know, and release any negativity that you've pushed out, because whatever feelings you have going on, especially negative ones, I mean, they need to come out somewhere, or they live inside you, and then you know you have things don't go well. You're carrying around negative energy, so that negative energy needs to move out somehow, whether it's you know, through any expression. But for expression like this, for you know, art, visual art, it becomes something. You know, you have this object that remains, and you've poured all of that into it, as opposed to people who express that in a physical way, like through dance or something like that. But anything that comes out as an object, you've just infused this with all kinds of unhappiness, and you know, you really don't want to. I wouldn't recommend keeping that around. I mean, so if you wanted to do something like that, I mean, just use graphite or something. Not this is water-based, but I don't really know what chemicals they use in all of these things. So something that you can burn easily and not, you know, not light your hair on fire or anything. Whatever. Use something something that you can easily burn. Anything that's negative that you're pouring out, I would definitely recommend, you know, disposing of away from yourself. Don't hang that on the wall and keep looking at anything negative, or keep that energy around you. But for positive things that you're just sort of releasing, you know, this like lessons learned, or you know, this, even if it was a negative experience that and some of that is what's in here, you know, it maybe on the surface was a negative experience, or just, you know, a little bit of sadness or disappointment, you know, but in here were some things that I wrote about. It was more about lessons, like being grateful for the lessons that you learned from those things, not the negativity, because I don't see a lot of things really. I think I've processed pretty much everything, and then I'm isolated, so like there's nothing. I don't have to have new things to worry about. There's nothing causing chaos in my world right now, but that could change tomorrow. You never know. Anyway. The idea here is that, you know, you can put positive affirmations in, you can put mantras, you can put, you know, whatever is in here. Put your own poetry in here, you know, and just, you hang it on the wall, and you have that energy of something creative that you've expressed into a painting. And really, it's let's see, can we show it? So that's this one, and I haven't done anything with the other one. And I think I'm gonna, maybe I will expand. I feel like maybe some blue out here, but I'm not sure. So that is, let me turn it. So that is another type of painting that I do, I guess, intuitive painting or drawing. This one is really, it's just kind of a little bit mindless in a way to decompress, and I do end up with some of these. I don't think I have any here. That's a cat. It's one of the cats. I don't know what they're doing. Probably both of them. Hopefully nothing that I have to clean up because I don't feel like it. But you know, as with everything, as with everybody in this house, both cats and the child, nobody listens to me, so it's all right. I'm sure it'll be fine. Anyway, so this will eventually end up on a wall. It really looks kind of better in the camera back. I feel like it has more depth, and it looks a little bit like it's melting. Yeah, it's like, I don't know, like it looks like the, you know, obviously this has some inspiration in you know, the evil eye, or that, you know, that I have everywhere. Is it superstition? Maybe. I don't know. It's in my belief system, so I do stuff with it. But it does have like a little bit of a melting look to it. And I don't know. It's got that ancient aliens feeling to it, or ancient, what is it? The ones with Egypt and aliens and everything, whatever that's called. That show, the guy with the big hair. So yeah, this, like here, we got a little more melting. Like some of these round things kind of turned out to look like they're melting. So that's interesting. I kind of like that. I don't know about the yellow though. I feel like that could be warmed up a little. I feel like I want it to be blue, which means it'll be green. But anyway, so that's another idea, and we'll look into that further some other time. But this is another thing that I do that's just ways that I use art, and I think everybody can, to I don't know, for your happiness and mental health, and of course decorate the house, put everything all over the walls, absorb sound. But that's all I have to say, and I'm gonna find out what the cats have done to the kitchen. So hopefully nothing much. Nobody's looking at me right now, so that's a little what does my daughter say? That's sus. All right, and maybe I want to see this one more time. Maybe we'll work on this again. I kind of like this. There's my blue, as always, my blue, and I really like that there. So maybe I'll do more with that blue. I think that's a paint, not a paint marker. So I'll have to see what. I'll have to figure out where I got that from. But that's it. Okay, bye.